I love architecture and I love beautiful houses, and I always think I'm going to redo my house, which I don't ever, but I'm always collecting Pinterest and ideas, and I came along this house on this street. I thought, this is my dream house. It's so beautiful. So of course I knock on the door to see who the architect is for this house, and the husband says, oh, well, it's my wife. So she came to the door, the sweetest person in the world, Kelly, that you're going to meet in a second, and we become sort of email friends, and she's been generous enough today to let us in, and you guys are going to see it as I'm seeing it. I really want to get in here and see it anyway, so I'm really excited about this. But anyway, you're going to love her, and so come along. We're going to go look at this house. So this is the most beautiful house. It's a historic, I should have looked at the little sign, but maybe she'll tell us. I'm sure she knows what year this was built. But I actually, and I told her this too, when I had seen this house when it was for sale many years ago, and it was an older gentleman that lived here, and the place was crazy, sort of hoarder situation, and he wanted a ton of money at the time. I think he came down after the years went by, but the whole backyard that you'll see this beautiful barn now was a million cars and junk and stuff. So she was brave enough and had the vision, and this place, I would live here in a heartbeat. My dream house. Hi, Kelly.
Hi.
And who's your dog? Thank you.
This is Emmett.
Oh my God, he's so
Say
excited.
hey. Oh, he's very excited, as I am.
So I'm so
nice
excited.
to see you
Yes, I'm
again.
so excited to come in. There's so many things to see. I just gave a little intro to tell everybody that of how I had seen it and knocked on your door, and
And you
how I had
saw
saw
it
it
before.
before you even start. Is the store original?
The door is not original to the house.
Gorgeous.
The original door to the house was in the barn, but it's at least 50 years old.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. And the
Yeah.
screen was.
The screen door was here, and I think that was original, but I had it rescreened.
Right. You have to read. You have to do everything. I'm telling you, it was a dump. It was a dump. It wasn't even inhabitable, really. I mean, the guy lived here, but it was
Yeah.
really, really.
Well,
bad.
he was an epic hoarder.
That's why I just said he was.
And it was like Fred Sanford had decorated the backyard. It was like
That's true.
cinder blocks and cars
That's
and
right.
rusty things and metal just strewn
I know, I
everywhere.
think when I saw the open house when he owned it, I mean, not only was there, I mean, I'm trying to remember, but there upstairs, it was just sort of this open bathroom, like it wasn't really a bathroom, right? It was like plywood with sort of
he had
toilet.
taken the bathroom apart 35 years ago, and so it was subfloor, and then there was the clawfoot tub, which was original,
Right, that's
and a
cool.
sink that was original, and so we had those both refurbished. But yeah, it was. He would start a project and then just stop it, or
35 years,
sort of
yeah.
water bug over to something else,
Right.
and so it just never got done. And he had what we affectionately, or not so affectionately, called the little old man bathroom down here, with the grout that I swore moved, and that was the bathroom he used for all the time. So he didn't use any of the
How many
other
years
rooms.
did he live here, do you know?
50.
50, isn't that great?
Yeah.
All right, so why don't you walk us through and let's see
Okay.
some cool things.
So I drove up to what was this saffron,
Yes, right.
mustard,
Right,
all sort of
right.
different colored yellows
Right.
house, and I came in right here, and I just felt something about this house, and it took forever, like a year and a half.
To even own it?
Yes, because he didn't want to really sell it, and then wasn't sure if he liked us. I was baking cookies and dropping them through the milk delivery door, and I was trying to woo this little old man. He was 84, I think, at the time. And then eventually we got on pretty well and had a nice relationship. He knew we were going to respect the house. I did the whole write him a letter thing and everything, and he told me he was saving the letter. It was so very sweet. And but then he wouldn't get movers. And we were in escrow for 10 months, and he moved everything in his broken down VW van to Lake Tahoe.
Wow.
Trip by trip.
Right. Wow, that must have taken forever.
Yeah, we were like, well, we'll get movers
Yes,
for
yes,
you.
right,
And he was
we'll
like,
help
no,
you.
no, I must look at everything.
Right.
And I should have been tipped off. She wouldn't deal with the real estate agents. It was just he and I, but they could be in the room. We negotiated the deal in here.
He trusted you.
It trusted me, and then he made us Harvey Wallbangers. I swear,
Is that
I've
the
never
funny-
had a Harvey
Yeah, me either.
Wallbanger.
Me
I was like, good thing I didn't have it before.
Right,
I would have
right.
paid a lot more for the house.
Right.
I was like, whoa. And I should have been tipped off because the first thing he said was, we ended up giving him 90 days for escrow, right? Usually it's like 30.
Right.
And he said, okay, I'm going to get right on it. I'm going to load up all my expired magazines that I've dog-eared, and I'm going to drive them up to my storage unit. And I thought,
It's going to take a while.
this is going to take a while.
Right. I actually bought a house once, and it was kind of the same situation. A single man lived there and a bit of a hoarder. And he told my real estate person in the middle of escrow, I'm just kind of tired of packing, and I think I'd like to just leave. And so we said, sure, because we were in the same boat. We really wanted this house. It was like he was in the middle of his breakfast, eating the toast, and he walked his dog out, and the gate shut, and he couldn't get back in. There was, that like from the bed he slept in, there was like tissues and just the throw to miss the trash can spot. Millions of pairs of shoes. It really, I have to say, it cost me a gazillion dollars to get his stuff to the Goodwill and everything. Yeah. Did you have to add the chair rail thing up there, or that was there?
The chair rail was there, and there was some old wallpaper that has sort of watermarks on it and stuff. So we took that down. The wallpaper was actually kind of pretty, but it was damaged. Right. So I painted that my favorite gray, which is Silver Chain, Benjamin Moore.
Oh, and it's very pretty. It's kind of like, do you know Fair and Ball paints?
Yes.
It's kind of like lamp room a little bit.
Yes, it is. You're absolutely right. Mm-hmm. So, and Dean, who was the former owner, he did leave me some magnificent furniture. So this piece was left here.
So the guy was here?
Yes.
Wow.
There were things that he just could not get out of the house.
That's so interesting, because I noticed that when we first walked in this room. I thought, that's a beautiful piece.
Well, it's just amazing to me that you were in this house beforehand.
And is that the original tile, or you redid that?
No, this is an interesting story, because he was really an interesting guy and loved this house and loved old things. The condos on the corner here, which are very 70s-ish, I guess there was a grand old home there.
Well, Olive Orange Grove was the Estates.
And they were knocking that one down. So maybe in the 70s or whenever he got there, he went and salvaged all those tiles from the fountain in the back of the house. And he even gave me this little drawing that he did on graph paper of how he was going to lay it all out.
You can't duplicate this.
No.
It's so gorgeous.
So to balance the room, I have another sisal coming here, and I'm going to have I have a frame, and I'm going to have the glass guys come and put a mirror in it. Mm-hmm. So I think that'll really make this, even though I do sit here once in a while, but we just did this on Saturday, so I'm just kind of getting used to it.
Right. Beautiful. But this space is great.
Thank you. Yeah, I really love that. Mr. Lanzetti did that. I bought that sofa at the Huntington Collection, and he refinished it for me. Oh, I love it. And the chairs too. They walked in, and you have to wait for them to get appraised or whatever. I would not leave the chairs. I was like, I will just stay with the chairs until the man comes over and he puts the brakes on them.
Were these columns original, and was the tin ceiling original?
The tin ceiling, I understand, is not original to
the house. But was here when you got it.
But it was here when I got it, but it was gray, silver gray. And the way you can tell is because there are Phillips head screws holding it in, and someone told me Phillips head screws were not invented until sometime in the 30s. So I thought that was so interesting.
Yeah. I love this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I should be a docent. I know,
right?
I really, really love architecture. It's
my window. So this was not original to the house. He made this little bump out, and
it's nice though. It gives it more depth.
It is nice. And I really didn't know. My husband, who's not a designer but is really pretty good with furniture placement, he's like, we should put, because I bought this love seat to go over there, and he's like, I think we should put it there. And it turns out, this is the spot everybody sits. The dog sits there. My girls get home from school. Of course, I have to check their Instagram, and that's where they do it. So it's actually kind of nice. Yeah. This is a funny story. I was with a client, because I do some design work with off my blog with actual real people. And so we were driving to go to this special furniture store that we were going to go to. And so I bought this thing. Of course, it had to be all wired and checked and everything like that, but it was a very good price. And then he delivered it wearing tails. And now my house, we were in this room, basically living in this room. My husband and I were sleeping on the pull-out in the living room. The girls were on mattresses on the floor. We had a dorm-sized fridge, microwave, because we lived in during the entire process. And he arrives with his helper, and they had this thing over their shoulders. And he comes in, and he looked like Captain Stubing, but like he had fallen off the ship, and then they pulled it back up. And that sat in a box for like a year before we were ready to put it up.
So perfect. I love your fabric here too.
Oh, thank you. These chairs we found in the barn, and I kept pulling them out.
So he left a lot of stuff here.
He did leave a lot of stuff, but he took a ton of stuff too, including the 7 cars and pieces that were out there and all this kind of stuff. But a lot of the things he was very kind and left. This table is from a Girl Scout yard sale. Thank you, Girl Scouts. That was the deal of the century. I love it.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And then the grain sack I got at the Rose Bowl. And Mr.
Hood here. Oh my gosh, the treasures you got.
I know.
It's so nice that you have reworked them to stay here and be part of the history of the
Yeah,
house.
so we painted it. Obviously, we used, I don't know how many gallons of white paint, but he had it over there.
So
And then,
nice.
this is this is the velvet finish, which is kind of like a satin,
Right.
you know.
What white? I know you guys are. You and your friends are into.
Oh yeah, I'm really into
paint
it.
colors.
Paint colors.
What
Yes.
white
Well,
is
this
this?
is my favorite white. This is Simply White by Benjamin Moore, and
Is that what you used everything here?
everywhere.
And the walls and the trim.
the walls and trim and the outside of the house,
Oh, it's all simply white.
all Simply White. Yeah.
Good to know.
So I just
So
used
it's a
different
good
finishes.
white. It's a warm white.
It's a great white, and it's
Yeah.
not too, doesn't get too
Blue
yellowy,
or
and I
yellow.
don't like the blue ones. I don't want a cold white.
So this kitchen is amazing.
Boy, in it.
I really, it's so beautiful. So what was here? How was it laid out?
This was bad, and I'll send Mandy some pictures. But he was very sweet, and it was a functional kitchen for him. He had like one of those little movable islands here. He had a giant, which I think must have been like one of the original Sub-Zeros. So the thing was huge, like you could have put in a dinosaur carcass in there. Huge, and it acted kind of as a wall, and everything was brown. And there was a sink that dripped, and he had one of those sort of bump out windows,
Right.
like those
I hate
greenhouse.
those. Yeah.
And then tile countertops. And I swear a jar of granola that moved. It was just the old
Right.
kitchen. But the best thing was, he left me the stove.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But what was here,
Wow.
there was shiplap wasn't here, so there was, it was
You
just.
put that up.
Yeah, it was
That's so
just
pretty.
brown. I don't even remember if it had wallpaper, it was just brown.
And what kind of wood do you use to do that? Is it just like
It's just regular wood. You can go to the expense of having it sort of, it's not really a bevel, but it's
Right.
on an angle.
yes,
And that's more tongue and groove.
Right.
Okay, so that costs you a little bit more, but all you need to do is get regular thin planks, 6 by like maybe 1. And what's a great thing to use is
Those
a
are that 6
separator.
inches?
Yeah,
Okay.
and then,
Like a
You
child
know those?
separator?
yes, but you know what's great is the stirrers that you get for free with the paint, because they're long.
Oh, the sticks.
And you just put the sticks in and then move the stick over.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And then you just paint and then it kind of fills it in with the
Yeah,
paint.
yeah, and then because I like the look of
Me
it
too.
being more rustic.
Me
The
too.
painters were like, so now you want me
You
to
want
put
us to fill it?
silicone? I was like,
No.
no.
Yeah.
Yes. So Dean had a fire extinguisher next to her, which made me really afraid of this stove. I thought,
Right.
oh my god! And plus, when you look at it, you think this is like flying a plane. So I was like, I don't really know. In fact, I have an O'Keefe and Merritt outside that I had bought. I thought I was going to use if anybody wants it.
Does it work well?
Oh, it does. It works beautifully. We did have some experts come in, this really nice family company called Antique Stove Heaven.
Oh yeah,
And they're-
I used to.
Okay, so they came and they took it away for 18 weeks.
Wow.
And they take the whole thing apart like it's a puzzle, and then they clean everything, they put it back, and then they made it so you didn't need a fire extinguisher, so they changed all the the bits and bobs, so
Right.
it really works. And really, all you do is do this. You hear it go.
Yeah.
And there
oh
you
my
go.
gosh, I love it.
Super easy. And the first review I got on my first batch of cookies, that was my girl's favorite thing that I made, they tasted even better in the stove. So there you go.
So amazing. I had a big O'Keefe Merritt that looked just like that. It was this shape.
Right.
It was that big type. And it came with the house that I had bought too. It was really fun. And then when I was selling the house, I wanted to keep it. And it became a deal breaker with the guy.
This is built in 1924, this stove.
What year was this house built?
1886.
Love that.
So he bought this. I don't know how he found out about it, like, the Craigslist in 1970. So it didn't exist or whatever, but some little old lady on the west side was selling this. So he went over and bought it, and she had the original manual. I have a blog post on it, it's so sweet. And then correspondence that she had with the CEO of the Reliable Stove Company. She, I guess, went to some appliance expo or something, and she was so excited in 1924 or 23, and she's going to get this new stove, and it had a red star on it, like the shape. So the stove comes, however long it takes, it shows up, no red star. No, she is not happy. So she types on onion skin paper this letter to this man, to the Reliable Stove Company, saying, hey, what's with what? I bought the one with the star on it. And then she's got the response from this man that actually they upgraded the model, and she's gotten the better model, but if we will send someone out to paint the star on if that's what you'd like, blah, 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 blah. But it's so sweet.
Right.
It's dated 1924. And he had it in like a plastic sleeve for me.
Yeah.
So I have all that
What
stuff.
was this section right here?
Well, he had the gigantic fridge here, and then this wall came out a little bit further, I think. So there was kind of this little opening with a little tattered curtain, and then there was he had a washer and dryer here,
oh, so the service porch.
and shelves with lots of work clothes, and got like a zillion cans of beans and stuff like that, just in case.
Referring to
Just
the
in case,
earthquake.
apocalypse, we
Yeah,
were
right.
ready.
Uh-huh.
And then like brooms and stuff. So this was in the back of the fridge, which sort of, and then more just little shelves and just stuff like shovels and brooms and things
Right.
like that. And then there was this sad little door that just kind of hung out. It was like you'd open it, it'd kind of like fall out, and a couple little steps down to
The junkyard.
the yard designed by Fred Stanford.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
it was fabulous.
This is beautiful. And you said it's a local artisan that built this for you?
Yes, he's actually, it's called Hollywood Ironworks, and they do a lot of work for the film industry, and he also used to make the frames for the Rose Bowl parade floats.
Right, oh, right.
And I was looking, I had so many pins on Pinterest with
Right.
these factory doors. I love the ones at Mike and Ann's. I just
Right.
love
Yes,
them from
yes.
New York,
Yes,
you
me
know. So I found someone. I was dying to find someone to do it, and there's this company like Torrance Doors or something, and they're famous for doing them, but they're so expensive. So I was just looking locally, and I found this guy, Matt,
Yeah.
and he came, and it took a long time, and each piece of glass had to be cut because each one to fit
Right.
in the space
Right,
is a little slightly different,
Yeah, right.
and grouted and all
Don't
that.
you love that?
I love these doors. Yeah.
That's great. Did you have to do all new electrical and plumbing? And
Yeah, and even if he didn't have to replace it, it all had to be checked. Everything was just so old, and it
Right.
really he
And
didn't
wasn't
have
really-
the money to
Right.
keep it up, so you didn't really know. You just didn't want to slap something on top of it without checking everything out.
Right, you're on
But
fire.
he did do a pretty good job of keeping those things going.
So what about this? You added this.
Okay, yeah. So we added, this was just plain ceiling, and I just, because I was doing so much white, I felt like I needed some
Texture.
interest and
Yeah.
texture. So I said, well, let's do this planking, and I found there's sets that come from Lowe's, and it's like Everwear or it's not Ever Ready, it's Everwear. I have it. I can get you the information, but they're like $11, and it covers like a really incredible amount of square footage. Like I think my entire bedroom ceiling we did for like $120.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And so do you do the same thing where you put the little paint stir sticks to do it, or they kind of snap into
They
each other?
they're just pieces of wood, but you didn't have to do that because they have like a slight angle on the edge of them. So they didn't even have to work with the separator.
What's so nice too is, this kind of thing was so this period of house.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I love
Well,
it.
originally the entire house, from what I understand, all the woodwork was painted forest green.
Really?
All the trim. And then he stripped it all down. And then when he stripped it, it was very orange. And the wood didn't really match.
Was it like redwood or something?
Yeah, you know what?
Or mahogany or something? Something.
Not a nice wood.
Right.
And different kinds of wood. Because
These are truly amazing, right?
yeah, those are fabulous. Because what I understood, the Victorians, if they didn't have a whole ton of money, and so they didn't use a really great wood, they were going to use paint grade wood. So they were always going to paint it. But he didn't want the paint; he liked wood.
Right, but it was wrong.
But it wasn't great wood.
Right.
Like almost every step was different.
Oh, yeah.
Wood.
Funny. Well, this looks great, and I love you don't do a carpet. It's so great.
No, I did. I was gonna do a runner, and then I thought, well, maybe for safety, but I kind of like the way it is, and it's too easy to clean. But this is interesting.
Is that original?
This is a Dean original. I don't know that it's original to the house, but she's like
How
sits on a
fun.
cork, and she just sits in here.
Isn't that great?
And then I put this on Instagram, I think, and somebody said to me, that is symbolic of having your house paid off. That this was something that was done in the Victorian era. That it's actually called like.
So that's so cool.
Yeah, and sometimes they would have like a little plaque here, a little something that would say, and having this, which I call the Lady of the Staircase, on here would be an indication that your house was paid off. And then, of course, a few other people responded like, well, that's not really true, blah, blah, but I kind of like that story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's a great night. Like, at first I thought, oh, that's a little over the top. I don't think I'd do it. But how can I get rid of her?
Yeah, it's so
So
fun.
she stays.
I love
They were created by Dean and his wife
Oh my
in
God.
1973.
DP.
Yeah, so she's an artist, and he was whatever he was, various. He had a lot of reincarnations, I think, of his career, and they made these. And I thought they're kind of craftsman-y, like I'm not sure,
Right.
but how could you not
I know.
keep them? And I love the way the sun comes through. No, but these are from Modbos. I just realized my bulb is out. But yeah, those are Carrie Star. Aren't they great? Yeah.
I never saw them. They're so beautiful.
Yeah, I think actually I was just lucky enough to be there when they came
That's
in.
the way your stuff goes
Yeah.
fast.
So this is the girls' bathroom, and yeah,
Beautiful. I love all your use of brass.
Thank you.
Because I know that was not happening for a while. Now it's back.
Yeah, well, those are not the unlacquered brass, because you see what's different about that sink, right? It's the kind it's called pillars. It's separate, hot water and cold water, because that's the way the sink was. So that's the original sink to the house, and we had it redone. It's getting, my girls have been a little brutal on it, so it needs to get redone again.
Oh, so this is cool how you did this. So what, you just put like a thin coat on.
Yeah, so this is a white stain.
Oh, cool.
Which then I thought, oh, maybe it's a little too pink, but I kind of like it, just a little bit different. And this is kind of a little bit of wasted space, and there was some gigantic dresser in there and a huge armoire, which is now out in the barn. So we just opened the door here, where there was a linen closet. So now this is my closet, but I'm not going to show you because I threw all my messy stuff in there when he was coming.
And you can get a good closet in an old house.
Yeah, well, there are no closets.
Right.
I mean, I don't know, those girls have big dresses, but I guess they only have like 1 or 2 of them.
Oh, yeah, see, I don't know. Or
Right?
trunks, a lot of
Or
trunks.
trunks,
Yeah.
right?
Now,
So it's
did
kind
you
of an awkward room in a
Did you
sense.
create this, you know?
Well, he had, there was a closet here with those long mirrored sliding, you know, which is so Victorian. So
Right.
that was great. I
Yeah.
really should have kept that. So
Yeah.
that's gotta go.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he had his TV in here,
Right.
and that was his closet. So we just jumped in there, took that space, because otherwise you couldn't get a king size
Right,
bed. And
right.
he had this bed over here, and it wasn't centered on the window, so I didn't want to live that way. So it is a little odd in that
No, but
you
it-
can't
you
have nightstands or anything,
But
but
it works.
Peter has that little niche, and then I have this little stool,
Right.
and it works.
Yeah.
It's fine.
You see, my husband's bedside table has so many like a stack of books that have grown this big. I'm like, really? Like, he's an avid reader and he reads in bed. That's cool. But,
Right.
And you did it like I did too. Like you took a door that was here and just added.
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
That's what I
yeah,
did.
exactly. I do have to have the guy come and put a little silicone in there to match it up. But
yeah,
yeah.
I actually did mine. I put on the bottom, I think, but yeah, it makes because you can use the matching doors.
Exactly,
So
because we
great.
took so many doors off, and there were so many doors just in the barn. So I wanted to use as many as possible. So this was...
Did that iron guy make this for you?
No, this is from Rustica Hardware. And they actually sell this through Home Depot now. They're the same brand. And I just love, that's actually called their Victorian model. And I thought, oh, I just love it.
Yeah. Was it called Rustica?
Rustica.
Rustica.
Yeah, really nice. So then this became the master bathroom.
So this was like the nursery or something?
Yes. right. So it's obviously not a huge room, but we packed in here, just put everything
but
we need.
your sense of a space is so great. How you've worked with the space you have. It's amazing how you've done.
Well, I think the limited palette too really makes a difference. Reds, golds, and pops all
I've
over
been
the
in
place.
all those phases.
Yeah,
Yes. The jewel tones
The
were
jewel
like back
tones,
in the
exactly. The
80s.
Tosca.
and maybe it was 90s, yeah.
So
and then now even I have a lot of colors. I mean, I have like you know these colors because you know Fair and Ball, but the Charleston gray and the lamp room gray. I have like those, and I mean they're not, they're kind of repeated.
Yes.
But still, when I redo someday, I'm going white. I think that's the way to go now anyway, is white.
So this piece came shiny brass, like the 80s brass. But I'm really happy with it. You can see at the top, so that's where I'm talking about, like where it looks like a kid with acne.
And you're like, oh.
And then, but the unlacquered really does take on a beautiful patina after a while.
Was the whole piece lacquered or not?
The whole piece came unlacquered, but when it comes, it's still that shiny.
Yeah.
It looks like it's polished brass.
Right.
But then it just starts to fade with the water and the air.
It's not a Waterworks thing, is it? I mean, where's it
No,
from?
that's Sigma.
Sigma?
Yeah. I'm really happy with that. The whole build
With the top?
with the top and the sinks. I'm
Seriously?
telling you, I think the whole piece was like $600.
No way.
Swear to God.
I have to tell my friend this. Build.com.
Build.com.
What if I just got a magazine for that?
Yeah, they send things in the mail
think
too.
I just got that the other day, and I tossed
They
it.
have great
I'm gonna go dig it out of the trash.
tile, all
the trash
kinds of
bag
stuff.
today. I can't.
Yeah, just go on build.com. They
Remind me,
have it. I
build.com.
get it. I mean, And I think they have it in like they have it in white, and they have it. But yeah,
That's
I was
amazing.
looking for. I had to be only 60 inches. I didn't want to have it too wide. I was gonna have it custom made, and then
Which would be a fortune.
such a fortune because I mean I love my kitchen cabinet guy, and that had to be all custom.
Right.
You can't just the way that was all configured.
Right.
But something like this
Right.
worked out
Cut a
great.
corner somewhere, right?
Yeah. Oh my
Beautiful.
gosh! All I was doing was writing checks.
I
So
know,
it was
I
like-
It's right.
This is my younger daughter's room.
Sweet.
And this was a guest room, I guess, when the other gentleman was here.
Wow.
So
I
we're
love the
getting
lights.
to,
That's
yeah.
something-
So I did a metallic paint,
It's really a fun idea.
and so just a little bit of something.
yeah.
At night, it's really pretty
I bet.
because the chandelier sort of bounces the light around
Right.
with the texture on
I
there.
love that. I love things that reflect light and, like your vases or
Yeah,
your
yeah.
mercury glass.
Exactly,
whatever.
it makes such a difference. So
Makes a
we're
huge
still
difference.
like she needs some more stuff on the walls and stuff, but I just don't want to. It's so hard to make holes in the lath and plaster.
No kidding. Your hammer's bouncing off.
Bouncing
the whole
off. So I
thing.
learned to. I feel kind of sexy with my drill, and I know how to use it now. But still,
You holster.
sometimes it doesn't work. Yeah, exactly.
No, I know.
And all of a sudden you have a little dust. So we're gonna really
Think
make
about
sure
it. Yeah.
of what we want. So I have some ideas, but then she had other ideas,
I know.
which
I know.
people
I hate
with
when they-
opinions.
I hate that.
I know.
I know. My husband always says he wants to chime in. He goes, I have
No,
some
no
good
time,
ideas. You're like,
no time.
oh,
No
do you
time.
have to have ideas?
Exactly. Just my
So
ideas are good.
is this their kind of hangout, or this is this daughter's space?
Pretty much. Well, there's arguments.
Because-
What is Pier 1? The rug, some of the pillows,
Mm-hmm.
the curtains, the standing mirror.
Fun. And did you paint it silver?
No, it came like that.
Wow, pretty.
Yeah. So again, this one's still kind of a little bit in progress. It had like a border, sort of like a Navajo
Yeah.
thing going on.
Uh-huh.
That border wallpaper.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And then a lot of craftsman style furniture, but not real stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then a big roll top desk. And there was just a lot of stuff
Yeah.
in here, and it was super brown.
Wow. I think for you, it's you really, you're the champion for him and here, and I'm sure it was smart to sell it to you, and he probably knew you were going to make it happen.
Yeah.
All the things he couldn't do.
I think so. Yeah, he felt good about it, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So happy to be just living here now. Huh?
I love it, and we love the neighborhood.
Yeah, it's a great neighborhood.